Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
Oh, I thought you'd never ask. It is Thursday, the 30th day of January. Holy cow, it's almost done with this month, too.
I know.
Today, there's only one thing on the entire list.
What's that?
National Croissant Day. I like
mind
croissants.
a croissant once in a while.
You know what's really good? A croissant for like a breakfast sandwich, where you make a breakfast sandwich or croissant. That's really good. And I remember we lived in a place where there was a restaurant that had what they called a croissantomelette. And it was like an omelet all mixed up, and then they cut a croissant in half and put it in the middle of that. Oh, man, that was good. Now I'm hungry. But in addition to today being a Thursday, being National Croissant Day, it's also a Thursday. And we have our Dear John letter, which we posted on our Facebook page yesterday. By the way, I want to take a moment right now to say thank you to the people who do respond to that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that see it, but not everybody chimes in with advice. Hey, it's all about just giving advice. And I talked to a person that said, I always have good ideas, because they even sent me one time where they sent me a message. But I was like, just post it on the page.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I don't want people to know what I think of it. Why not?
No, why not?
What does it matter? Anyway, you got a good one today, and I would love it if you would chime in. This is kind of an important one. We'll get to that in just a bit. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Student loan debt is out of control for many people. Are you one of them? The average graduate walks away with anywhere from $25,000 to $40,000 in student loans. Believe it or not, 2% even manage to owe over $100,000 by the time they graduate. If you have several different student loans, let us consolidate them into one loan and one payment at singlestudentloan.com. If you have only one student loan, we may be able to offer you a better rate to help you get that loan paid off sooner at singlestudentloan.com. That's singlestudentloan.com.
Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. A new poll found that over 40% of Americans don't have $1,000 saved up for an emergency. Been there many times in my life.
Absolutely.
So I understand that. We did the Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University, and that was a life changer for us. It was a really good thing. And then we kind of got away from it again, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
But boy, it's a good idea, and it's a good idea to have an emergency fund. But they're saying over 40% of Americans don't have even $1,000 saved up. So I understand there are times you look at where you're at and go, and I don't have the money to save. But if you can find a way to squirrel just a little bit away
every week,
it'll add up, and then you'll have that. So then you won't have a catastrophe turn into a major catastrophe. Surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com.
When was the last time you got a new credit card? If you have a card that's been in your purse or wallet for a long time, you should check and see if you're getting the best rates. You may find a better credit card that will give you the points you want or cashback options you don't get right now. At BetterCreditCards.com, you see all the major credit card companies and their best offers. Let them compete to earn your business. And if the one you have right now is better, keep it. Find a card that's a better fit for you at BetterCreditCards.com. That's BetterCreditCards.com.
This is your brain on drugs, brought to you by TimeForRehab.com. Wisconsin couple's drug bust took a strange turn when one of the suspects told police that he cut his product with his mother's created remains.
Cremated remains?
Yeah. 26-year-old Austin Schroeder and his girlfriend, 21-year-old Caitlin Geiger, each face felony drug charges after a tip led authorities to their apartment to a criminal complaint. However, Schroeder told authorities his mother died a little more than a year ago, and he mixed some of the ashes in with a variety of substances, which he ultimately ingested. That is just bizarre. The complaint does not specify if he mixed his mother's remains with any of the drugs that he's accused of selling. Geiger told authorities Schroeder created drugs with chemicals using a pot on a stove. So, yeah, none of that sounds like a good plan. This is one of the many reasons that I don't do drugs, because I think it's just a bad idea, period. Well, yeah. But also, you never know where this stuff is coming from.
Yeah. Wow, that's so...
And if you can't trust a drug dealer, who can you trust, right? It's a bad idea. That's why it's the kind of thing that happens when your brain is on drugs. Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. Emmy-winning and Oscar-nominated actress Laura Dern will play a bartender with a sympathetic ear in Just One Drink. It's a series for the upcoming QB streaming service, QUIBI. Am I saying that right?
I've always liked Laura Dern.
Yeah. It'll consist of one-act vignettes between Dern's bartender character and customers that she serves, all of whom are in various states of emotional despair. So she's like a bartender that'll just listen. So interesting idea. Just One Drink is what it's called. That'll be coming soon. Members of the mob are coming out to say, hey, that movie, The Irishman, is not true. It's not what happened to Jimmy Hoffa.
You think?
And we actually talked to the author of a book that one of the characters,
son or something, right?
like the character, his dad, his real life dad was one of the characters in that movie, and he said no, that's not true. So, according to like every source out there, they're going, no, that's not true. It's just a movie.
It's a movie.
But when you have real people in the movies,
people
that's where it
think
gets
that
confusing.
yeah.
So, either way, thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
It's a new year. Have you made a resolution to quit drinking or to finally get away from drugs for good? These are both habits that are hard to kick, but you can do it. We want to help you. TimeForRehab.com is here to help you find the help you need with your particular situation. If you want to make this year the year you get the help you need to live a normal life again, start with a little help from us at TimeForRehab.com. That's TimeForRehab.com.
Now, your scoop of the day brought to you by FunkyMonkeyShirts.com. The National Chicken Council says their annual chicken wing report claims Americans will consume 1.4 billion wings on Super Bowl Sunday.
Yikes.
27 million more than last year.
That's a lot.
How many wings are we going to consume, Heidi?
None.
What? Why not?
Because we're not.
Okay. A woman in Austin, Texas called police after her ex-boyfriend stole her bag of Burger King in sneak attack.
Aww.
Victim approached her apartment.
Nice.
The ex was hiding in the bushes. He jumped out, grabbed her food, and took off. Well, it's even more bizarre. Police arrested Irvin Johnson for theft, and he admitted that he was upset about another man buying Burger King for his ex-girlfriend. So they broke up. She was coming home with a new man, and the new man was holding the bag, and he jumped out of the bushes, took the bag, and ran off. I don't know what's going on. Dude, you need to move on. I mean, you seriously need to move on.
He was just hungry.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy. Hey, a great party trick and useful for circus performers, but they're saying juggling is actually way better than we thought for the American adult, or for the adult brain. I guess any
Juggling is?
Yeah, juggling. Mastering this skill increases the amount of gray matter area in your brain that processes and stores visual information, providing what was not thought possible. New stimuli can alter the brain structure. It says a comparison of brains imaging scans of non-jugglers and other volunteers before they learn to juggle, and then 3 months later reveal an increase in gray matter in certain areas of newly trained jugglers'
Have you ever
brains.
tried to juggle?
Oh yeah, watch. What can I
I
juggle?
cannot juggle. I've tried. I cannot do it. You can juggle like one or two things, but that's not juggling. It's got to be
come on,
three
Heidi.
or more things.
I can juggle 12 things. None of them are going to stay in
cannot.
the air. They're all going to fall on the ground, but I can juggle.
That's
just
tough.
not well. I know. I would like to learn. We should learn how to juggle.
No thanks.
I'm going to learn how to juggle, and I'm going to teach you as well. In Hong Kong, actually, that story's coming up later. I'll get to that one here before we'll skip down to this one because I'll use that for my my world news. Not wanting White Castle to have all the fun, it says here, Waffle House is now offering a Valentine's meal for couples by offering special menu items and setting the mood with candlelight and white tablecloths. So apparently White Castle was doing something like that.
I don't know.
And they decided, hey,
That's fun.
let's do that. So now you can do that at the Waffle House as well. And this is where we got to end it today, at least for this segment. Dudes wearing nail polish is going to be a big deal in 2020. It's called a manicure, where average guys will paint a nail or two or all of them to make a statement.
Oh,
I could
please
paint
no.
this one nail right here to cover up. Look at that. That is disgusting. I smashed my finger last year, and there's still a big old dark spot on it.
This is not.
Could I cover that up?
No.
Would
I
I
don't
be
want you
trendy?
painting your nails.
But I'd be trendy if I did that. I'd put a
No.
picture of you on there.
No.
I don't really want to do the manicure, but when they say that this is going to be big in 2020, it means like 0.00001% are going to do it, and they're going to just snap a whole lot of photos and put them out there, and then they're going to, everybody's doing it. No, it's those 0.0001%. Thanks for listening to your Scoop of the Day.
Student loan debt is out of control for many people. Are you one of them? The average graduate walks away with anywhere from $25,000 to $40,000 in student loans. Believe it or not, 2% even manage to owe over $100,000 by the time they graduate. If you have several different student loans, let us consolidate them into one loan and one payment at singlestudentloan.com. If you have only one student loan, we may be able to offer you a better rate to help you get that loan paid off sooner at singlestudentloan.com. That's singlestudentloan.com.
It's time now for Dear John Letters. All right, here we go. It's a Dear John letter that starts out, Dear John, I lost my husband to cancer 5 years ago. Oh. That's a bummer. It says, I stayed single until my girls graduated. My youngest left for college last fall, and I decided to start dating. First of all, this is awful. I sure do miss the old days of dating before the internet. It was so much better. I recently met a guy that I thought was going to be a great fit for me. We have so many similar interests. I truly enjoy being with him. He's divorced, and his kids are older. We spend time with both families around Christmas, and it went very well. But now he's asking me to remove my photos of my husband. I'm just not ready to do that. There's a family photo with my kids and my husband. It's prominently placed in my home because they mean the world to me. He's erased every trace of his ex-wife, but they were divorced. My husband withered away in my arms. I can't just move on. I'm thinking it's time for me to find someone who understands this, possibly a widower. My daughter told me to stop and think this over. She said it was wonderful to see me happy again, and she wants me to try to work things out. Should I remove my husband's photo and move on with my boyfriend? Or should I move on and find someone who understands what I'm going through? Signed, moving on, but how? First of all, I'm sorry to hear that you lost your husband. That would be really, really difficult. And I think that the biggest difference that you guys are having here is he didn't lose his wife to something like cancer. He lost his wife to a divorce. So it's a completely...
It doesn't matter. It would be awfully hard to expect somebody that you're dating to be perfectly okay with coming into your home and seeing pictures of another man all over the place if you want it to go somewhere.
But here's the thing you need to understand. That other man is the husband, her husband also the father of her children.
I get that, but even the kids understand where he's coming from.
Well, and
saying, maybe it's time to take it down. He's been dead for how long?
You give your advice, I'll give my advice. That doesn't mean we're going to agree, Heidi. So what is your advice?
Probably won't agree.
It kind of sounds like we won't, which would be a first.
My advice would be to not like destroy them or anything, but maybe don't have them on display where he's going to be uncomfortable whenever he's in your home. If you want to have a future with anybody, you're not going to be able to have a shrine in your home for another man. It's just not going to work out. It's not going to happen. Period.
So you're saying she needs to move on.
She needs to move on. If she wants to move on, she has to move on completely.
So you are agreeing with her daughter, it sounds like.
I am.
All right. Here's what I'm going to say. I think you should have a conversation with the boyfriend. If you want to make things work, you need to have a conversation with the boyfriend and say, you know what? I love you and I want to make this work, but you need to understand there's still going to be a part of me that loves my husband because
of course.
He's my husband. He's the father of my children. So if you want me to take the photo down, because it sounds to me like maybe there's one big main photo that's prominent, and maybe you replace that with a new family photo with your kids.
If it's hanging above the fireplace or whatever, that's awkward. A giant picture in the center of your home that he has to see.
But he needs to be able to understand that even if you do remove the photo, you can't remove that person from your heart.
I don't think he's asking for that.
But he needs to understand that. If you guys are going to try to make this work, you both need to understand. You need to understand that he's got his perspective where he's going, hey,
it's awkward.
I kind of want to be in the center ring of your life now. I want to be the one that, because your kids have moved on. They're going to meet people and they're going to start their own lives. And his kids, it sounds like, have moved on, and they're going to be starting their own lives. Now, this is an opportunity for the two of you to have your own life. And I'm not saying that you need to remove your husband completely. I understand. That would be really difficult. If you lose somebody that literally, as she put, withered away in her arms, that would be hard to just say,
oh, absolutely.
I'm going to take that down. But it's been 5 years.
But if she's ready to move on, if she's truly ready to move on, which doesn't sound like she is.
And you've waited 5 years, which I think is good.
Maybe you're putting this poor guy through something that you probably shouldn't put him through because you're not ready.
You need to have a conversation because he needs to understand that. Even if I take that photo down, if there's still this giant place in my heart that is only reserved for my husband who passed away, with or without that photo on the wall, I mean, you're still going to run into some roadblocks. You guys need to have a conversation so everybody's on the same page. And speaking of pages, you, as a listener, have an opportunity to chime in with your advice on our Facebook page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. And we post this on Wednesdays. So it's already been there a while. There's already some advice on there. And some agree with what Heidi's saying. Some agree with what I'm saying. I encourage everybody to have a chance to chime in. Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
Do you have a lucky shirt? FunkyMonkeyShirts.com has several lucky shirts to wear next month for St. Patrick's Day. Or if it's a really lucky shirt, you can wear it every day. Green shirts, four-leaf clovers, Irish sayings, and more. Don't wait. If you order your lucky shirt right now, it can be here in time to wear for St. Patrick's Day. Find t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, and more at FunkyMonkeyShirts.com. That's FunkyMonkeyShirts.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Some people have an extra bone in their knee, and it's getting more and more common. If you were
Really?
under the impression that the human body has finished evolving, think again. They say that there are some people that have a bone in their knee called a fibella.
What is the bone for? What do they think it
It says,
does?
while this particular bone, with an unknown purpose, was once
Okay.
fading away over the last century and a half, it's gotten more common. Back in 1875, 18% of people had a fibella. That number dropped to 11% 100 years ago. But by 2018, 39% of individuals have this mysterious bone in their knee. Now I got to find out if I got one. A fibella, Fabella. I've got a link to all of this info in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
When was the last time you got a new credit card? If you have a card that's been in your purse or wallet for a long time, you should check and see if you're getting the best rates. You may find a better credit card that will give you the points you want or cashback options you don't get right now. At bettercreditcards.com, you see all the major credit card companies and their best offers. Let them compete to earn your business. And if the one you have right now is better, keep it. Find a card that's a better fit for you at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Now, news headlines from somewhere in this world. Dateline Hong Kong. In Hong Kong, a woman who tried out a foot massager in a store had to be rescued by firefighters when her foot got stuck in the foot massager.
Oh, no.
And the staff could not get her out. After being stuck for a half hour, the woman was checked out at a local hospital and released.
Oh my gosh,
Can you
how
imagine?
embarrassing would that be?
That would be really bad. And that is news headlines from somewhere in this world.
It's a new year. Have you made a resolution to quit drinking or to finally get away from drugs for good? These are both habits that are hard to kick, but you can do it. We want to help you. TimeForRehab.com is here to help you find the help you need with your particular situation. If you want to make this year the year you get the help you need to live a normal life again, start with a little help from us at TimeForRehab.com. That's TimeForRehab.com.
Now, some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. A man faces theft charges for allegedly stealing a running vehicle that was containing a pit bull. It was in the back seat, and it was out of a gas station parking lot before crashing into a power pole a few blocks away, resulting in his hospitalization. So 24-year-old Tevin One Lapierre had been charged with misdemeanor theft and reckless driving and operating a vehicle with a suspended license, both traffic violations. Great Falls Police Department says shortly after 9 p.m. Friday, a man pulled into a parking lot of the Loaf and Jug, it's a gas station, left his car running with his dog in the back seat. Lapierre entered the 99 Nissan Altima while the man was in the store. He drove away, reportedly going at a high rate of speed. Then he crashed into the passenger side into a power pole and knocked the pole to the ground. The pit bull did manage to escape the vehicle following the crash and ran from the scene. Lapierre was not placed into custody Friday night due to him being in the hospital instead. So I don't know if he was driving along and then the dog growled or whatever and freaked him out, and that's why he crashed.
Right.
But yeah, that's just a weird story. That's why it's today's Weird News.
John and Heidi.
Now, your moment of duh, brought to you by SingleStudentLoan.com. Whatever happened to driver's ed? I mean, I don't get it
I
here.
had to take it.
I know, I did too, but I didn't take driver's ed. I learned how to drive from my dad, and that was actually way worse than driver's ed could have been. But video allegedly depicting a young man crashing his father's sports car in the most embarrassing way possible has gone viral. Over 2.4 million views as of like a week ago when I got this story. I'm trying to get caught up, by the way. So thank you, everybody, that's sending me awesome stories. When he gets into the Ford Mustang Shelby GT 350R, parked in the garage, starts it without shifting into neutral. It lurched forward into a wall and like crunched it up. Then he jumps out of the car and screamed, "I'm dead. I'm blanking dead." His friends captured the whole moment on a smartphone. The 526 horsepower GT 350R.
Oh my gosh.
Starting price of $74,000.
Oh my gosh.
One of the few cars on the street that is only available with a manual transmission, and he didn't know how to drive it. Wow, bad idea. Don't do that. That's today's moment of duh.
When was the last time you got a new credit card? If you have a card that's been in your purse or wallet for a long time, you should check and see if you're getting the best rates. You may find a better credit card that will give you the points you want or cashback options you don't get right now. At bettercreditcards.com, you see all the major credit card companies and their best offers. Let them compete to earn your business. And if the one you have right now is better, keep it. Find a card that's a better fit for you at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Now, fake news or Florida? It is at this time each day we read a little headline here from a story, and Heidi has to tell me, is this a true story from the great state of Florida, or is it made up just to trick her and amuse me? Are you ready? Mm-hmm. Fake news or Florida? A Largo woman was arrested for misusing 911 by calling and texting the number to make non-criminal complaints about her husband. Police say she dialed multiple times asking for things like a counselor and how to file for divorce. Fake news or Florida?
I'm going to say Florida.
It is a true story.
Yeah.
There's way more information there. I should have just trimmed it down, shouldn't I?
Yeah, you should have. But
she's 69,
I could
Sylvia
totally
Schumacher.
see that happening.
Yeah, she called multiple times. But that's not the place to call.
No, of course not.
The very first call there, they should have said, no, you need to call this number.
Yeah, do not call back here. This is an emergency line only.
Then she probably would have quit, but I don't know. I have no idea what happened, but it's a true story. Came from the great state of Florida, and I've got a link to it in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. Comes your way courtesy of bettercreditcards.com. Here's the headline. A mother and her 3 children survive 34 days in a Colombian jungle after getting lost on vacation.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's over a month, man. A mother and her 3 children survived 34 days in a Colombian jungle by living off wild fruits and berries after they got lost on vacation. The mother, age 40, and her 3 children, age 14, 12, and 10, were first reported missing on December 19th last year. Local media reported they spent most of the 34 days wandering the jungle barefoot, surviving on berries before they were rescued by the Colombian Navy.
Holy cow. Good for that mom for being able to keep them all going for that long. That's insane.
That is. They were on holiday in the region when they went to meet the children's father and became lost. Remaining 34 days, they were missing. It says here, the family was found near the village of La Esperanza, northern Peruvian sector.
Wow.
Borders with Colombia. They were following a river when they unknowingly crossed into Peru. Local media says the missing group was found by members of an indigenous community who contacted Peruvian authorities, and that's why they showed up. The Navy showed up to find them.
Crazy.
They were taken to the hospital, treated for malnourishment and minor injuries. But what a great story that they were okay, because boy, oh boy, that could have ended a lot differently.
Amazing.
And they were all okay. How awful would that have been if, some of the kids didn't make it or something? Oh, that would be terrible. So thank goodness the lady and all of her kids were all fine. I've got a link to the story. It's in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Bye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Also, a reminder, if you would like to chime in on today's Dear John letter, you can also do that. And I love it when you do that. You can do that on our Facebook page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.